All right, I just made Brandon. What's your last name?
Marufo.
I want to ask you a question. What do mangoes and concrete have to do with one another?
I can't answer that.
If you listen to this week's episode of Marietta Stories, it's a guy named Luis. He's from Puerto Rico, and his mom had a factory job. She was making $3.50 an hour, and he was 12 years old, and there was mangoes in his backyard, so he decided to sell those on the highway and make a little bit extra money to help out his family. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
The concrete part is he's built a business here in Marietta that he redoes concrete, and it's called Concrete Design and Repair, and he's a great, great guy, and he cares about his customers. And I spent a lot of time last week traveling with him and checking out people. Now, what are you doing here in Marietta?
I just moved here from Texas about a month ago.
Don't say anymore because I got to edit it out. How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm 22 years old.
What do you think? What are you really passionate about? Don't know. Yeah. Well, that's interesting, man. I got to check up on you in a couple months, see how things are going. So you're like in the middle. You don't know anybody here?
Nobody at all.
Really? All right. Well, you know me now, and I really appreciate your time. And listen to Marietta Stories podcast, and you'll be able to hear yourself.
Marietta Stories podcast?
You said again. That was a pleasure meeting you, and thanks so much for your help.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Bring the museum back to life.
You know, people sit out on the front porch hoping people will come by.
Go forth and do good. It's insane. I have the most understanding wife in the world.
I treat everybody the same thing.
Oh, that's the other thing I love about Marietta. It's like a melting pot.
You are listening to Marietta Stories. Each week, veteran podcaster Bill Nowicki brings you the heartwarming, interesting, and fun stories from the people that make the community of Marietta, Georgia, a place to call home. Here's your host, Bill Nowicki.
All right, here we are, Marietta Stories. I have Luis Montanez. It's about 38 degrees outside, and he has a concrete business. It's called Concrete Design and Repair, and it's here in Marietta. How long have you been around?
I've been in Marietta since 2010.
The business started when?
2012. Since 2012.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to get to know him, but right now we're heading out to a job site. We're going to check out. He has a short sleeve shirt on. It's like 38 degrees, so he's pretty, I won't say, oh man, you're getting all kinds of calls. All right, so we're heading out on the road here in Marietta. The traffic's pretty bad. Traffic worse for you since like the last year or so?
Traffic is always something to work around with.
Let's get started on your life, Luis. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Puerto Rico. Since the age of 5, I moved from California, mainly because it was a more slow over there. That's my mom preferred to go back to her roots and go live in Puerto Rico. And I came to Marietta in 2010 due to a job opportunity with DCAA, that's Defense Contract Auditing Agency, as an auditor in 2010, and that's kind of what brought me to this wonderful city of Marietta.
You told me you have been an entrepreneur since age 12. I want to know about that.
I come from a very humble beginnings. And
what do you mean humble beginnings? Tell me about what your life was like in Puerto Rico growing up in terms of being humble.
I grew up with a single parent in Puerto Rico. My mother used to work for a factory, and in Puerto Rico, the economy has always been a little bit depressed. And she used to work for a factory at $3.50 per hour. So that kind of tells you that there was always scarcity in that environment. So to always help my mother out, I always was looking for opportunities to generate income, to buy myself stuff, to help out with the family and all that. So I remember earlier on, since probably the age of 12, me going out and selling mangoes and different things in order to generate income, even if it was cleaning backyards or doing any little job that I can do in order to get in exchange for income. So
you're a hustler.
Yeah, hustler. Yeah, hustler is the word.
What was the first thing you sold? Can you remember?
That was mangoes. In the backyard, there was a lot of mangoes. I saw them all on the floor getting rotten. And we lived near a highway. So I just remember setting up a table and getting on the trees and putting all these mangoes down and selling them for 5 cents, 5 cents a piece. Back then, even getting $5 after selling all those mangoes, it was a huge amount for me. Yeah.
So what was your pitch when somebody drove by? Did you get the salesmanship part of that too?
At the beginning, it was near a highway, and I used to have a sign, and obviously I started with just mangoes for sale, and then I started doing the 2-for-1 deal and trying to learn those type of pitches in order to sell the mangoes.
And you're like 12 years old, so did you get a reputation for these mangoes?
It was a short venture. I said it was seasonal as well. So I've always been drawn to seasonal businesses, even in this concrete as well is kind of seasonal. So I was doing other things as well, going to people's houses and offering to clean their backyard.
Cool. So it sounds like you had many potential sources of income to help your mom out, and I'm sure she was very happy and proud to have somebody like you. Did you have any brothers? Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I got an older sister, but we're like 5 years apart. The age difference always made me feel like I was a single child.
Right. Well, my older sister is 5 years older. She was mean, so.
Yeah.
How was yours?
It was kind of the same thing. By being older and stuff, she was probably mean as well, so I just did my own thing.
Yeah, that's what I did too. But I had a brother, so we conspired against her, and it was much, much better that way.
Yeah, I didn't have an older brother, unfortunately, but yeah.
You did the mangoes, you did some other things, you started hustling, and then what did you do after you got out of high school, I assume?
After high school, I knew I wanted to somehow get out, of my current situation. I wasn't ready for college due to the financial burden and also the mentality. I didn't feel ready for college. The Army was the next best thing for me. Back then, my English wasn't very well. My English is not my first language, and back then that was a challenge to even get into the Army. Thankfully, because of my entrepreneurship background, I've always been very good with math, been able to work numbers in my head. So that factor helped me even pass the test, even though I scored very low on the English side. But once I got in, I was fortunate enough to not be around a lot of other Hispanics. I was forced to learn the language very, very quick. And after that, after probably about 3 months, I have about the same fluent English that I have right now. At first, the only job that I was able to qualify was infantryman, even though that was kind of what I always wanted to do. I went to basic training in Columbus, Georgia, and that also was an introduction for what Georgia is and how I fell in love with Georgia. This may be a place for me to come back to.
Well, thank you so much for your service. Did you see any combat in the Army?
During my first 3 years in active duty, I did go to Korea, and over there I was a scout between the north and south of Korea. It was called Panmunjom, that area. I can't talk about it fully, but we did come close to starting different incidents with the north. After that, I got out of the military on active duty, and I joined the National Guard in Puerto Rico. I did my first deployment in 2003. And then I did another deployment in 2009 with the Army Reserves. And I just came back on 2016. I did my third deployment, doing different jobs. I got commissioned in 2007, and I still serve in the Army Reserves. Right now, I recently got pinned as a major.
That's great. Yeah, so you must kind of like the Army.
The Army is something I always wanted to do. I like to serve. I think that's the connection with the entrepreneurship and the military. Just serving and being part of something bigger than yourself. I'm a Christian. My triangle of what I call is, God, family, and country, in that order.
Got it. So tell me about connection with Marietta and how you got started with your concrete business.
I remember as a child, my mother always, whenever she had construction jobs going in the house, all the houses are made out of concrete. She always made me be the assistant of the contractor doing concrete, mixing the concrete and carrying the concrete. And that point in my mind, that's when I made the decision of saying, I'm going to go to college and I don't want to do all this hard labor. Afterwards, I did get the education. I got my bachelor's is in accounting and my master's is in financial management. After working in a cubicle all the time, I was missing that part of working outside and working with my hands. That's kind of how I came into working with the concrete.
They do say that sitting at a desk is a new cancer, so you're out and about. You don't sit at a desk too much.
So that's how it is. I first started it as, kind of like moonlighting it. I started by, building my website and doing estimates after work. And then whenever I sold a job, I just did it in the weekends, hired a couple of guys and ordered the material and just started doing it like that. At first I started doing it more as a additional stream of income, or Disney money as I call it, to
side hustle.
Yeah, side hustle. So yeah, after that, the business grew more and more. At one point, I did have a partner. His name is Jaforest, and he's the one that helped me grow it to what it is today by being able to run the operational side.
Okay. So where are we right now? We stopped the car, and the wind's blowing pretty hard, and it's 31 degrees. But go ahead.
Well, this is our shop. I'm going to show you the shop of some of the equipment and different things that we have.
Wow, you bought this building. Here it is. What street are we on?
We're on Austell Road.
Austell Road, just down from County Services. Yeah. And you serve, it's apparently like 50 miles.
Up to 50 miles.
You must be still hustling a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have like 2 salesmen that they do that part for me as well. We have around 4 or 5 employees that work with us.
Hey, John.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, I'm trying to record this thing on my mic and trying to get access to your shop. But how did you get involved with Louise?
I was the leader of a veterans group in West Cobb. We conduct bi-weekly meetings for veterans that are looking for transition opportunities back into the civilian world, or just looking for camaraderie and connecting with other veterans. And he came in one day in February and said he needed some help with his business. I said, yeah. I said I'd be happy to help him.
Great. And what's your background?
I'm a retired United States Marine Corps officer. I have mostly a background in business and sales and in acquisitions at the federal government level.
Oh, I see. Louise is he's got entrepreneurial materials in his bones, it seems like. He's been doing this since he's been 12 years old.
Yeah, I think we both kind of connected on that level as well.
Tell me a little bit about what resources you have for veterans, just in case some veterans are listening to this podcast.
Importantly, we're not only a veteran-owned small business, but we're certified as a service-disabled veteran-owned small business, which, when we're looking for municipal, state, or federal contracts, offer us a set-aside advantage. We act as a resource for veterans who are looking for new careers. Because we handle most everything in the concrete world, we have a lot of versatility. So if somebody has a desire to work in a trade concerning concrete, we're able to offer them an opportunity. Or if they're looking for, on the decorative side, a little more of a combination between the artistic approach to a trade, we're able to offer them that opportunity as well.
Cool.
One of the things we're extrapolating in the business is in our waterproofing and mold and mildew remediation. And we have a relationship with a green company here in Marietta that is able to provide certification and training in not only the products, but the applications of their products. And if we're able to provide veterans career opportunities afterwards, this training comes to them for free. So we're looking to expand this capability specifically for veterans, and hopefully we'll be able to start entertaining that idea here in early March and having a couple of veterans trained at the end of March and being able to bring them aboard in April.
Well, that's great. I would love to follow up with you on that, and definitely keep in touch so we can let folks know about what you guys have cooking.
Well, quite possibly for your podcast as well, I could introduce you to that organization. They are veteran-owned as well. Another very close friend of mine, another retired Marine officer, actually two of them, one who used to work for me and one who's a good friend of mine. I could put you in touch with them, and maybe it helps you with your looking for venues for your podcast, too.
Yeah, I would love to do that. John, I'm going to go back to Louise, but it was a pleasure talking to you. How do folks get a hold of you?
Best way to get me is on my email, which is jaforest@concretedesignandrepair.com, or you can call me directly at my phone number, which is 404-313-1369.
Great. Thanks so much for your time, John.
Pleasure to meet you.
I never tried that, but it worked out pretty well. So here we are in your place in Austell Road, and what are we looking at?
Yeah, we're looking at my shop here. This is a lot of the stuff for our decorative side.
So you don't just have to have gray concrete.
Exactly. That's kind of the what got me into this business. I saw that there was an opportunity for beautifying concrete. And mainly this is one of my other business ventures, which, having kind of gone into the different types of business that I've been into, was real estate. So when I came to Marietta in 2010, when the market was depressed, I did see an opportunity of buying properties, fixing them, and putting them or renting them or reselling them. But I mainly did rentals. I kind of, like I mentioned before, I'm a Christian man, and I see the beauty of taking something broken and restoring it to its full capability, and also serving others by giving them a home and being able to serve that way. In 2012, I saw the problem of being not able to find the right properties at the right price. So I kind of saw that there was going to be a need for home improvement. Me liking concrete and me getting tired of having to replace carpet all the time, every time I had a different tenant, I saw that this was a viable solution. Putting in beautiful concrete, as you see here. This is kind of an epoxy.
On floors instead of carpet.
Yes, instead of carpet, you can make the house bulletproof. It's a kind of a more industrial. It's a little bit of industrial look, but you can make. This is a modified concrete. It's basically a mixture of white cement, sand, and a polymer that, when mixed together, you can add a color into it, and you can make it look like tile, like slate, like marble, and it has a very artistic feel to it. As you can see, some of these sample boards.
Yeah, so it has specks of stuff looking at it. It's got a little sheen to it when you see it in the light. Yes, and you have all kinds of equipment in here too. You have buffers and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
And we work in garages as well. We can do this type of application on garages.
Which is the spec type stuff you would see in industrial or folks' garages?
Yes, and also it's UV resistant, and also it helps with to clean quicker of any oils that fall on the ground, and you don't get those ugly stains on the concrete that there's typically on a lot of homes.
Doesn't permeate.
Exactly. So yeah, we do driveways. We are able to resurface driveways and do different looks like tile and as you see here, and many applications. Basically, sky is the limit on that. It's just an alternate to ripping out and replacing the concrete, which can be very costly, and as well, this is more environmental friendly option. That's kind of where I see that this is going to be something that's going to be growing. A lot of people are not educated into what decorative concrete is, so a lot of people came back and always it is really nice, but we just want to rip it out and replace it. So I started doing that as well. We have the option of, hey, if what you want to do is rip it out and replace, so we started doing that. And then I saw the situation where I went in a basement and there was waterproofing issues, so we started doing waterproofing as well. So that's kind of what gave us the name of being the concrete guru. We do anything to deal with concrete, being the concrete guru.
Very cool. Man, I didn't realize you could do all that stuff because like my driveway has like 2 big cracks on it.
With cracks, we can deal with it in different ways. One is to cover it, and the way we cover it is that we reopen up the crack. We put some sort of a polymer inside of it, which makes it more flexible. Not all cracks are created equal. If it's just a settling crack, we're able to reopen it up and put some sort of a polymer that is flexible, so that way the crack won't come back. And then on top of that, then we put an overlay so it's you're not able to see it. If it's a structural crack, if they didn't do a stress relief line, we're able to create that. And then we have occasions where the concrete is so old, and that in order of ripping it out and replacing it, we're able to create a design with the cracks, where with a crack chaser, we're able to make it look like stone, like flagstone, and we're able to work it into the design. And it looks beautiful. I say that the value that we bring is by enhancing to your curb appeal, or indoors, but into your curb appeal. I know how it feels of driving to your home every day and going into a gray-looking old cracked concrete, where it will be nicer if you come in and you have something nice to look into your home.
I mean, you look at it from the homeowner's perspective, so you have all kinds of options to be able to get the best look, and I'm sure you work with price and all those things to kind of work with the owners to get the best results. And you were brought up that way, right? Serving people, yes. Doing all this hustling you did, gave them mangoes, gave them a good fresh mango, and you just kept going from there. So that's terrific. So where are we going to next?
So now we can go to probably 2 job sites of work that we're doing right now that we have done in the past, and we can look at that. And to your point, that is exactly right. I don't believe in hard selling. I believe in listening to each person's problem or to a customer's problem, and then offering solution to that problem. Back to my Christianity point, the 2 commandments that I follow more in my values are put God over all things, and then serve my brother the same way, that I love myself, or love my brother the same way I love myself. And I
golden rule.
Yeah, and I do that through basically service. If I'm serving you, and if I'm offering you a service to you that I would like myself, well, then I'm meeting my purpose.
Great. And what is all this other heavy-duty equipment you have? What does it do for you?
Well, we have grinders. In order to put our product, we have to open up the concrete by being able...
So something won't adhere to something that's smooth.
Yes. So we have to make it porous. Mm-hmm. So by grinding it and taking all the imperfections and dirt on it, then we're able to put in our product, and it can properly bond that way.
How long does it last?
It can last as long as the concrete is there. Typically, the concrete that is poured on normal houses is around 3,000 PSI. Mm-hmm. Once we do our process, if it's properly done, then it can go up to 5,000 PSI. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be pretty strong. Unlike tile, there's sometimes gaps in that tile, and if you drop a metal ball on it and you crack the tile, then you can find yourself in a situation where you go back to the store and try to get a replacement of that tile, and it's no longer existent. So,
and even if you had one, the colors are going to be different.
The way our product resolves that issue is that we keep track of the formula that was used for every application in our records, so that way we can repeat.
And you're an accountant.
Yes, and
you're good at that stuff.
So the other equipment that I have here is vacuums. So we're able to pick up all the dust created by the grinding. So
you're not doing that in the house. You're not spreading that stuff in the house.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do. We sometimes work in hospital environments or different environments that you can't have a lot of dust outside. So we're very meticulous with that process.
How did you learn all these different concepts? Because I understand you were helping your mom out at the house in Puerto Rico, but how did you learn all these other techniques?
I started with a company called CTI and took a 2-day.
You pointed to your hat.
Yeah, I took it a 2-day training and was supposed to go out and about and learn about all this. They gave me a book and all that. Once you form the company, I've been so fortunate to attract the right people that have been into this business over 20 years. They've been able to
mentor.
Yes, they've been able to mentor and give me the right insight into what equipment I need in order to produce the right jobs. I have a gentleman that he had his own company and he's been into the business over 40 years. Then, right now he just wants to do the job. He has a love for the job and
doesn't want to have to deal with the business end and all of the employees and all this.
So yeah, that's exactly right. I can't claim that I know every little inch of what the process and the chemistry and all that do how, but I'm more involved with the finance and the business and running the business side.
Well, that's great though. I mean, that's what it's all about, is getting the right people around you, and you get this successful following. It sounds like you got the right folks. You're a veteran. You got all this stuff going on. So this is great. So we're gonna head out. We're gonna go somewhere.
Yes, we're going to head out to a job site now.
Let's do it. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. I want to know about, well, first of all, is your mom still down in Puerto Rico?
Yes, she is down there in Puerto Rico.
And it sounds like you really helped your mom out, just from what you're telling me, from the times of her having that factory job.
She retired out of that job. I was into real estate, and I purchased my first house when I was 19. And then that was while I was in Columbus, Georgia.
19?
Yes, at 19 years old, I was.
How did you swing that? That's a lot of mangoes.
I basically bought it from a friend that was deploying, was able to buy it, and I quickly rented it out. And 2 years later, after I left the military, I was able to sell it and make a profit. From that, I kind of bought another one and then another one. My mother was helping me manage a few homes in Puerto Rico. I sold a lot of them before the economy depressed in 2008. I still have 2 from that.
At some point, you're just helping out your mom, and then at some point in there, you're really kind of changing her life. Do you remember a moment that all kind of switched for you?
It kind of switched when I first saw the first $30,000 I made from selling a house. There was a possibility of not exchanging dollars for hours. Right. If I used my intellect, worked up the numbers, I was able to generate profit, different ways. And that's kind of when it all switched. And I kind of wanted to get the family involved in creating value and controlling your expenses to be able to generate a profit.
Yeah, tell me about your family. What do you have family-wise?
I've been married for over 10 years, and my daughter is 10 years old, and my son is 7 years old, and I got a baby on the way.
Well, congratulations. Are you excited about that? Do you know what the sex of the baby?
Yeah, it's going to be a girl. A girl.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like you got a growing family. Your businesses are doing well. You're constantly hustling. And we're headed out on South Cobb Drive, so we're driving all over Marietta and surrounding areas. And where are we headed?
We're headed to a commercial job site that we're doing over here. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to kind of go in.
Okay, cool. They probably have security and stuff. They probably don't want me.
Yes.
Right now we're at a auto parts business, and there's a sidewalk here with, it's not just concrete, but you have some stuff on the outside that makes it last a lot longer. Sealer.
Yes. And then over here we're doing an overlay.
And why would an auto parts store do that? You would think they would just who cares?
Yeah, well, in this case, this is a PSI security.
Ah.
And they want to be able to portray a nicer look for their clients.
So this is like a brand new business. All right, so we have
Boudrie with PSI Security Service.
PSI Security Service looks like you're coming to a new building, and you used Louise here to do some work for you.
Yeah, concrete design and repair. They came out, gave us an immediate estimate, looked at all of our needs, advised us on what we should do to help us out. No pressure. It was just, we recommend this, and we thought it was fantastic. Just moved into our new 10,000 square foot training and resource center here in Marietta off of South Cobb, and We wanted to use a great company. They had great ratings on Google, and they came out instantly, and they've been fantastic. They've contacted me 2 or 3 times a day to let me know what the progress is. I'm very happy with them. But it's a...
you have a great radio voice.
Do I? Fantastic. Well, let's do more.
Yeah, I want to know about your business. You got a mobile command center. You're doing training here in Marietta. What kind of things do you do?
Well, we have a little under 300 employees throughout Georgia. We've been here in Marietta for 30 years in Georgia. We're moving from our office tower that we was in. We purchased our own building, and obviously you can see we spend a lot of time remodeling and making it right. We got 2 training centers, uniforming room. We do all of our HR here, corporate here, 24-hour command center here. We do have a mobile command center. We're the only company in the nation that has the Skywatch, like police department shoes that raise 20 feet in the air. So we have that out on a project right now. We have patrol cars. We have like 25, 30 cars out right now in patrols.
I didn't even know this was going on. Yeah. This is cool.
It's a big thing. There's a lot of companies, like 426 companies in Georgia, and there's about, out of that, probably 30 companies that are really good. Of course, we're one of them, but so you got to be specific and really concentrate on what you want to have with your security guard company. We don't do alarms. We do physical security uniformed officers.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to come back and learn some more about you guys.
We'd love to have you back, go through the training area and go through the building. It's open door policy. We want our clients or potential clients to come and walk through and show what we do, because we do more than other companies will do, and we're willing to show it. Okay. They can come here and see. It's like an open kitchen in a restaurant. You always wonder what's going on in the background. We're welcoming them to come in and walk through and go through the process that sets us apart.
So you're not these guys that are sitting at desks like falling asleep at night and stuff like that?
No. I mean, we hire the same people everybody else does, but our training program and our managers are outstanding. So I can't say we have some magic cure, especially with this employment market, but we go over and above management-wise, and we treat our people better than everybody else does. So we still, I can't fix stupid. We still have problems happen, but we correct the problems immediately.
I got you. Well, great. It was great meeting you, and thanks so much for hiring these guys, because I was looking for somebody who would speak to what Luis is trying to do here, and he's had so many different options.
The steps they walk you through one by one, and they make you feel comfortable with what they're doing. Obviously, their quality of work. They've already done our garage flooring.
And you had what did you go with? What's it called?
There's an epoxy on the garage floor, and on the outside here on the concrete, we're having them resurface that also. And a few other projects or receptacles they're going to do for us. But the garage floor has a mixture of urethane and poly, something to coat it. So if oil gets on or whatever, we can just wipe it up.
We're going to put the PSI logo. They're going to put the PSI logo, and we're going to seal that in. It's going to look beautiful.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, we're having our friends at Extreme Color here in Marietta also. They're off Franklin. They've done all of our vehicle wrapping. They're doing our signage on the top. We're having brand new monument signs and building signs put in. They're doing an 8-foot by 10-foot logo, a full color one for our garage floor. So they've worked with us at Concrete Design and resurfacing to let us know when to schedule that. So it'll be nice and smooth and look good. Then they'll put another coat of urethane on top of that.
Isn't it nice to have somebody that's like coordinating stuff so you don't have to deal with it? You got somebody that cares enough about the business. To me, that's a huge, because you probably have 1,000 other things going on.
Yeah, we have a lot of projects happening right now, and they make you feel comfortable. It's like a part of the family. We know they care about what they're doing. Everything is fantastic so far. They're going to finish it Monday. We had a little scheduled delay with the big logo, and they had no problem switching the time for us. They wanted another project. They're getting right back on it Monday. This is Friday, so we're very, very pleased with them. And I know John's a former retired Marine, and I'm Army myself. So, having an armed service company is also a big factor that
got to stick together.
Yeah, we got to support, first responders, military. They do for us, we got to do for them.
Right. All right. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, and thanks for giving us some more information.
Likewise. Well, we welcome you back anytime. Or like I said, our doors are always open.
I'll check it out once the training center's up.
Sounds great. I appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
Likewise. Thank you. All right.
So here we are back at the parking lot here in the Marietta Square. And Louise, I really enjoyed my time with you. Sounds like you've been a hustler, an entrepreneur. You find different ways to make things work, and through concrete design and refinishing?
Repair.
Through concrete design and repair, you've really got something that helps folks and is going to last them a long time. And how can folks get a hold of you?
Well, we're all over the internet. They can find us at www.concretedesignandrepair.com or resurfacingconcrete.guru. They can find us there, either of their websites. But we're in LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all the different types of social medias. You may be able to find us and call us at 678-909-9982.
Great, and I'll have all that in the show notes. But the YouTube channel, if people, let's say they don't know if they want to do something right now, the YouTube channel gives them some important information that they could figure out what the next step might be too, right?
Yes, and we're consistently trying to bring in more videos of jobs done in the local market. And if you have any questions, you can call us. We can set up a free appointment or free estimate or consultation to try to give you the best idea and the best fit for your particular situation.
It sounds like you're not a high-pressure type guy.
Our strategy and our belief is to learn your problem, your situation. If you're looking for to get a better aesthetic look, we're able to educate you on the different options, and you make the decision.
Great. I hope things get better in Puerto Rico.
Yes, I appreciate you as well, Bill, and it was a pleasure meeting you, and thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, great.